welcome to Conversations with B.L.E.S.C in the city. As you see, we have a full room tonight, people. Right? And before I begin and introduce everybody, can we get that disclaimer?
Peace and love, everyone. Thank you for watching. And the disclaimer is simple. The views, opinions, and conversations that you will hear tonight and every night on this show is just our opinions and our commentary. It has absolutely nothing to do with Kearney Point or the staff or members of Kearney Point.
And that's right. That is very necessary. So we're going to start off with introducing the good brother, Rashid Chambers. Say hello to the good people.
Hello, good people. What's going on, everybody? It's good to see you. Thank you. You're far too kind.
And then we do have a special guest tonight. Ms. Cole, can you introduce yourself? Tell the people who you are, please.
Yes, my name is Dee Ashia Pigatt. I am a licensed professional counselor.
Thank you, Ms. Coles. And then I also have DP from the NYC. Welcome back, DP. Introduce yourself, please.
Oh, goodness. I'm DP from NYC. I am a licensed social worker and mental health professional.
Thank you. You know, these two ladies have helped me throughout my journey. But anyway, I've grown. And also, wearing pink, the best hair raptress in Jersey City.
I'll take that.
The educator, Miss Erica Bermudez.
Peace and love, kings and queens, and welcome to another episode of B.L.E.S.C in the City.
And then you have myself, the big back invasion, Kali Moore the Great. I'm glad you guys have come back to join us again. We're going to start off with Hitting the Block with the good brother, Rashid Chambers.
Hitting the block. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in Jersey City right now. And just to bring some things to your awareness, we have a college and career fair going on. This is going to be taking place at the Bethune Center this Saturday, and it's going to be from 10 to 1 p.m. So it's not just going to be, just regular, run-of-the-mill schools. We're going to have some HBCUs there. We're going to have, some, innovative technology-based companies there looking to hire people within the community. And it would be an awesome opportunity for anyone to come down. It doesn't matter. Doesn't vary, this will vary in age. We look forward to see everyone there. This is going to be hosted by the good folks at I Love Greenville, Angela Cares, and the Greater Neighborhood Alliance. This is an excellent opportunity for our community to utilize the resources that we're bringing to our community as far as the Bethune Center. So, yeah.
And viewers, please spread the word. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like we don't do enough to speak to our nephews, little cousins, and sons and neighbors even. Neighbors. Key word, neighbors. They don't have to be directly related to you. They still your family. Okay, so let's spread the word. We got anything else? I know there was recently a fair at Bethune Center.
Absolutely right. So shout out once again to I Love Greenville, Garden State Episcopal, and all the other awesome, different organizations that came together for the community health fair, which took place this Saturday. This was an opportunity for our community to take advantage of resources as it comes to, testing, COVID testing, things like that. Understanding, that people went there to sign up applications for, counseling for mental health, because that's a big part of it as well. So, we have so many resources and an abundance of talent in our community on constant display. We just have to go out there and support them so that they can then in turn, come back and make sure that we can definitely benefit from what, we come together and do collectively. So it's a beautiful thing.
That's right. Ms.
Yes,
Bermudez?
and also for Hitting the Block, I just want to mention, because this will be our last episode for the month of October, so I just wanted to mention the breast cancer awareness. There was the breast cancer walk that took place in Liberty Park on October 9th, and just this past weekend, Newark had an amazing breast cancer event as well. So just to highlight everybody who's struggling with breast cancer, the family members who are dealing and supporting their family with it. And, we also have our own B.L.E.S.C member who's fighting this disease. So, just continue to support one another, support your family members with this endeavor and awareness. And, yeah.
Breast cancer is something that affects so many, right? And we can also, equate some of those things, or a large amount of those things that occur when it comes to breast cancer and other cancers, to the things that we eat.
Yes.
So I'm thinking in next month, we definitely need to encourage nutritionists to come on here. So we
Absolutely.
can guide people like us on the do's and don'ts. Because even though we say a lot of this stuff is hereditary, actually it's what we eat.
Environmental.
Right.
It's definitely
Right.
environmental,
It's
and it's a culmination of a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something I'll be interested to see, B.L.E.S.C conquer. Let's get some nutritionists here and make that happen. Educate the good people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So they can, be a little bit healthier. I would say one of the reasons why, we're here tonight is not to only encourage everyone in the community. Anything that you have going on, please contact us. Hit our
Absolutely.
links. You have all our information. We have an office. Come see us. You know what I mean? MLK, Dwight. 158. Dwight. Jackson. Come see us. MLK. Any ideas? You got anything going on in the community? Please. That's what we're here for. Again, I always say, people ask what B.L.E.S.C does. We say what we can.
Right.
So there's not a task that we're not willing to assist or attempt to execute, especially if it's something positive and it's something for our community. We are willing to actually work with any organization,
Nice.
any organization, okay? We're gonna remove politics out the way. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's about the community.
It's about the
Facts.
community.
That's right.
Although the name is Blacks in Law Enforcement Serving the Community, we here to serve the community entirety. So it doesn't matter who you are. We're joining forces with anybody in the past, and we looking forward to do that in the future.
Yep.
All right?
One other thing I want to add
Yes.
for hitting the block before I forget also, November 8th is elections.
Yep.
And listen, it is so important to vote. You cannot complain about what's going on, and you cannot have a voice if you're not voting. You have to vote, especially within Jersey City. We have the school board elections.
Yep.
There's so much going on within the district, Jersey City Public Schools. So it's important that you get out and make your voices heard and cast your ballot. There are 3 different candidates that's fallen under for the school board. We have Education Matters, we have Change for Children, and Voice for Progress. Now, I'm not swaying you or who to vote for, who not to vote for. Read up on these 3 different candidates and each of the candidates that fall under these different umbrellas, and do your research. Find out what is passionate to them, whether it's budget, whether it's curriculum, whether it's student retention, whether it's attendance, whatever it is that they're focusing on. Just do your research and vote, because at the end of the day, our children matter. Our children are the future. We are talking about future leaders, future doctors, future lawyers, future Blacks in law enforcement. We
Already.
need our children to be educated. So please vote. There are other, elections that's going on, but I'm really passionate about the school board elections.
You know what it is too? The local elections are so vital.
They're more important.
They're more
More
important
important.
than the federal, anything else
Yeah.
that comes out when it comes to presidential elections or what have you. We do, because they impact us. So that's one of the reasons why we have to get together, beat the ground, and encourage people to get out there. Not only that, what's going on? You're an educator. Where are the parents when it comes to the parent and children's night? When it comes to the PTA and things like that, are they still active as parents? Because
I think it depends on the school. I think that if the school is pushing for parent council and those teacher-parent relationships, then that's going to happen, because you have certain districts, certain schools within the district that has a huge parent council or PTA representation. Then you have other schools not so much. So parent involvement is very important, but it's the school's job to kind of get the parent involved. The parent might be involved in their child's day-to-day, but they might not necessarily be involved with what's going on at the school. So it's the school's responsibility to reach out to the parent. And they do. A lot of schools have social media. They have Canva. They have Class Tag, and all of these different apps that are now
Text
used.
message,
Text message,
SMS,
social
they-
media,
They
Class
engage.
Dojo.
They
Yeah,
do
so
engage.
they do
Yeah.
engage, but I think it's very important for parents to engage and be involved, not just with your child, but with the school as a whole, different activities and things that's going on as a
Because
whole.
it truly takes a village.
Absolutely.
Always has.
And for those parents who don't understand the severity of it, okay, yes, you may be doing everything you can to your child and your household to make sure you keep them in the right direction. But guess what? He's amongst a lot of other children that don't have any guidance.
That's right.
Yes.
So for you to be foolish and naive enough to believe that just tending to your own
Right.
is it,
Yeah.
That's
you're wrong. And that's one of the reasons why we're suffering the way we are in our
Agreed,
communities.
1000%.
And the reality of it is our children spend more time in school than they do at home.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
More active time.
A more active
More
time.
active time,
That's right. Like you
absolutely.
said, they're
So,
among their
yeah.
peers. They're picking up things, hearing things
Right.
that you don't even know what's going on because they're there.
A lot
Yeah,
of
and it's a part of their
influences.
social development,
Correct.
so, you know, we understand why it's needed, but, you know, it doesn't mean that we just get a chance to say, oh, get a break.
Correct.
You know, we still have engagement, you know, because it's our job to make sure that we're raising them up, all right, in all areas. So.
Right.
Now we're going to be
Absolutely.
closing on hitting the block. I just want to say one thing, right? This was on my list. The traffic in Jersey City.
Oh, let's
There we
not.
go.
I can't.
It's like
Can we
living
not?
in New York.
It
It's like New
already
York City.
abused me today,
Oh,
and now
my
you have to
goodness.
make me
No, let's
What
not.
is
Go ahead.
go-
Go
what
ahead, man.
is
Oh,
going
let's
on?
not.
And you know what? We can do a whole show about the traffic. However, I want to say this. People, the way a merger works is this, right? You let the people in front of you go and you slowly merge into the way. Stop fighting me, right? It's going to happen naturally. Just go straight. That's how it's designed,
Take
Alternate.
right?
It should
Right.
be. It should be
Alternate,
alternate.
yeah.
It should-
Alternate.
People need to have a little bit more road compassion.
People need to be
Personally,
better
that's what you
people.
actually- Yes.
Exactly. And
Be
that's
better
what it
people.
is.
No one's taking anything from you.
Right.
Wait.
Listen, I was in a car with someone and they was trying to edge me on and stop. I said, no, that's not how it works. Watch how I'm gonna fall back and I'm gonna let that person go. He didn't beat me at anything. I didn't know
Both
he was
in
in the
traffic.
game.
Yeah.
You know what I
We
mean?
both in
You got
traffic.
somebody looking at you, they staring you down, and they just trying to inch up. Like, listen, go ahead, you won. I surrender.
Right.
Jesus, come on now, come on, Jersey City, let's
Everyone's
go.
in a
Like,
rush to go
ah,
nowhere.
nowhere.
Absolutely no.
A red light.
The red light. That's the word.
That's the word.
That's the word.
That's the word. You
Yeah.
can't let
We
me
both
in.
stop, right.
But the red
It's a
light is
red
there. Just
light
let me
right
in.
there, like-
Just let me in.
We both waiting now.
People, be
Right.
mindful.
Yes. Yes.
I understand you have insurance, right? But who wants to go to that aggravation?
Everybody don't have
Yes.
insurance.
It's stressful driving in
The
Jersey.
people without the
Right.
insurance are the more bold.
This is what I'm
Right.
saying.
You're supposed to be a little bit more passive.
Right.
Compassionate.
Oh,
Your
man.
pockets ain't set up.
Yeah. Maybe in December we'll actually conversate with some.
Is there traffic
controllers.
awareness month? Because
I'm pretty sure it is.
we're gonna get a traffic awareness.
I'm pretty
We
sure.
need that.
That's a
We're
good
gonna,
one.
we're gonna get one in December. We're gonna come together. Rally
We're gonna
together
dub
in
December
There is a hot
Traffic
dog
Awareness
day.
Month.
Yes.
We're gonna get a traffic
traffic,
awareness
yes.
something.
We gotta
All
have
right.
to because this is ridiculous. Okay, and that's gonna conclude Hitting the Block, I believe. And now we're gonna go to a subject that it sometimes can definitely get a little bit challenging. It can be heartfelt. It can touch a lot of people, and it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And it's something that affects so many people.
Agreed.
Right.
And it's like a silent killer, and one of the reasons why a lot of people that you around carry themselves the way they do. And, I invited a guest here because, I understand that these things that take place in a household, and it can be a variety of things. It can be verbal, it can be mental, and of course physical. And it just affects the psyche. And I was sitting back thinking, like, man, how could something like that, get tolerated? And how is it that someone in an abusive relationship is so eager to stay? Like, psychologically, what's going on? Like, it just had me, question all of those things. And, so I reached out, and of course, collectively decided, come in and to hear it from a mental health perspective. Because it has to be something in you that just allow you to accept the punishment and feel as though you're not worthy. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring that, up today. So, Ms. Coles, we'll start with you.
Sure.
So, you know, what,
There's no easy way into this,
No,
right? You see
it's
how
a
he's
difficult
being
conversation.
extremely
Right, you
ridiculous,
said
like,
all of that.
Exactly.
And then had to
Right,
pause, yeah.
Go ahead.
no.
It's a difficult
you-
conversation.
It's
It
a
is.
definitely
it's
difficult
a
conversation.
conversation. And I mean, I'm a big brother to many. And when it comes to a man putting his hands on a woman,
Or a
like,
woman putting her hands on a
Right.
man.
No, you're right.
Lord
You're right.
knows, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
You're right, because I'm gonna share my story later. You know what
Are
I
you
mean?
crying? Can we
Huh?
get some tissue?
I'm gonna share my story later,
Aw.
You
but
might say it was you,
but-
watch out.
Okay.
Oh, you know, but I'm setting myself up.
You know it, you know it.
but I'm gonna be serious, and I'm gonna say that, you know, it's difficult for me because the first thing I say, yo, leave him.
It's
You know what I
not
mean?
that
Because my
easy.
mom always
Easier
told
said
me,
than done.
if you got a beat it, you don't need her.
Right, right.
So I'm just curious, you know, your opinion when it comes to someone who's overly abusive. I mean, what advice can you give a woman to say, hey, it's time for you to go?
Well, I think a lot of that deals with where they are, you know, and one thing I just heard you say is that it is, you know, what would make you stay? Sometimes you don't even know you're in an abusive relationship because it's
That was
gradual.
my question.
And I've experienced this myself firsthand, so I can honestly tell you, it's gradual. It's small little things over time, consistently. And then before you know it, you just wake up and you're in a situation and you find yourself, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know, how did I allow this to happen to myself? How did I allow this to happen to my family?
Right.
And then when you're in that moment, in those dark places, you don't see a way out.
Wow.
You know, so people wind up getting stuck emotionally. You feel helpless.
Right.
You feel hopeless, and you cannot see a way out. And so people stay because they think, I can't go out, I can't tell anyone else, so it comes with shame. Clearly, there must be something wrong with me, you know, I'm broken, because everyone looks at my life and think my life is so perfect.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you should be happy because you have this, or you should be happy because you have a husband, or you should be happy because you live in a house, or you should be happy because he buys you things. Those are just things.
Right.
It doesn't speak to the emotional and psychological things that are happening that you suffer in silence that you don't want anyone to know.
You bring up a point that I was going to ask, and I think it has more to do with pretty much financial stability, you know, and how that's being leveraged. Because, as you stated, some females are like, "Oh, well, you just got a Tesla, and look at that great man you has." But he's like, "Yeah, but every single time he has a fifth shot of Jack, I get slapped upside my head."
Right.
You know,
That's
so
a form of-
there's no perfect life, you know, and no life where you're receiving something in so much abundance that this is okay.
Right.
But
Right.
isn't that a form of like control?
Absolutely.
It is all about control. I control you. It's about isolating you from your family, your friends. So you start to think, am I really experiencing this? Because everyone looks at you from the outside and think your experience is something else. So you'll say, hey, is it me? No, you're over exaggerating, or you're just having a bad day. A lot of people minimize your experience, and you start to doubt yourself, and so you believe what the abuser says. And so
Does it
you
become a
get stuck.
trade-off? Well, you say for
It can-
these nice
it can
things,
be.
I have to go
Yes,
through
it-
because this is what success
Correct.
looks like.
It
Is
can
there
be.
any?
You can, but then it's like, who am I without these things?
Correct.
How do I find out? Because you have someone telling you, you're never gonna be anything without me. You're
You need
nothing
me.
without me. They condemn you emotionally, and you believe it after a while because you're thinking, maybe he's right. I can't do anything. So they kind of like put you in a situation where you second guess your own self-worth.
So the root cause is pretty much control, isn't it?
Yes, it's power and control.
Is control not pretty much because I'm hearing the different ways where it can be, you know, mental or it can be physical or it can be, but overall, I guess the end, for the abuser anyway, the
It's about
end
control.
result is either
Control.
complete or, you know, control in general.
And manipulation.
Correct. And I
Because
think
either
Yeah.
you, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
because either you provide something that I can't get somewhere else, and so I can manipulate things and to get what I want. You have some women that will buy, you know, that make a decent amount of money, they buy these expensive cars. You provide me with this lifestyle, so I don't want to give this up.
So you mean to tell me that goes both ways, correct?
Absolutely.
So.
Damn them women.
So now I hear a lot of the conversation is centered around being in a situation where you feel like you can't leave, being in a situation where the abuser is seeking to manipulate and control and be dominant over the abusee. But there are instances where the victim wants to leave. There are instances where the
Yes.
victim tries to leave. More recently, there was a story of a young lady who posted a video of her husband, I believe it was her husband or significant other, abusing her. He was then arrested, released on his own recognizances,
right.
and then turned around and murdered her.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I'm
but
familiar with
my
this.
question is this, right? When you are calling out for help, because there are instances where you go to your family members and your family members don't believe you.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times if you don't see the wounds, because
They don't exist.
it's not always physical.
Right, right.
You know, sometimes it's just a mental control, it's just manipulation, or it's just, you know, belittling and talking down and things like that nature. So if you're calling out for all of these resources, but nobody is believing your story, what happens to the victim in that case?
DWP.
I think the best thing to consider in situations like that is seeking help outside of family.
Okay.
Because if you have an individual who parents went through domestic violence, or they have they had a toxic upbringing, they're not going to see the trauma and the damage in you because that's normal for me.
Right.
I got beat up. He's just calling you names. That's
Right.
nothing.
Right,
You didn't
right,
deal.
right.
You didn't deal with what I dealt with. And in addition to that, because Simmons was talking about it, this is a topic that I'm passionate about. I took a domestic violence class in undergrad, and my first social service job was at a domestic violence shelter in New York. And I remember a client there, and she stayed with me like to this day. She was a victim of financial domestic violence. Beautiful black lady, beautiful, very, very pretty. Her husband controlled all
of the
the
finances.
finances. He checked the mileage on her car. He gave her an allowance. He bought her clothes. I think they had a child. I don't remember about the child, but I remember the other women that was in the DV shelter had an issue with her because they didn't feel like her violence was their violence.
Right.
Oh,
She drove
yes.
to the shelter in a BMW.
Yeah.
She had a
Yeah.
BMW in the shelter's driveway. And they were like, how's she here? She got a BMW.
Right.
She's wearing Prada and Gucci. Meanwhile, she had to calculate mileage to go to the grocery store. He timed her. And it was never physical. He never, put
What
his
is the
hands on her.
consequence then? And I'm sorry because what I'm saying is,
We had
and
this
that goes right
conversation.
into it. So what is the consequence?
So the consequence-
if there's an do this or this will happen.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
So
if
in
she
her
steps out,
restricted-
then what?
In her situation, it was financial. How can I leave? You got
Strict-
the money.
She-
If
Yeah.
I'm giving you $20 a week, how do you have enough money to go? There were times when she said he wouldn't even to supply her feminine supplies if she didn't get back on time. So that's shame. That's
So-
embarrassing
so
that I
the
gotta
only-
suffer.
Yeah.
That in that
the
way.
only way you can actually combat that is by reclaiming your power.
Right.
Yeah.
Learning how to live without until
Correct.
you're able to be independent
Correct.
enough to get your own.
To get your own.
That's
I
it.
think my biggest issue was and this is Erica, you and I have spoken about this, and it becomes an umbrella where technically if I was to give a very simple definition to what domestic violence
can't.
is people within
Right.
close proximity harming.
Correct.
Right.
Now, if we do that, then an umbrella that can happen
Because-
with anything,
Right, right, right.
almost.
But it
Because,
includes
yeah.
everything. It
Correct.
includes
Yeah.
your children.
Correct.
Should it,
You know
though?
what I mean?
Well,
But
yes,
we just had that
Should it, though?
conversation
That's-
right
that's
before
my
the show. We
question,
talked
is
about
should it?
children and how people use their children
I
as
was-
pawns
So
Yes.
yes.
in domestic violence relationships.
Is that manipulation?
Yes.
Is that,
Yes.
something?
Yes.
Control,
Do we call that,
manipulation.
because what, my thing is when everything falls underneath an umbrella, we lose the significance to, some of the core things are.
Correct.
Domestic violence laws weren't really created for emotional
Absolutely.
abuse.
Right.
They were
Absolutely.
created because
For
women
physical.
needed protection
Correct.
in an
Correct.
era where they didn't have one.
Right.
And, it could be the same for
Correct.
anyone, but
Right.
initially,
Yes.
these are why they were created. So when we umbrella everything under domestic violence and we say that, oh, well, she won't let me see my kids as a form of domestic violence,
Right, right.
is that necessarily, something that we want to equate to a woman who is, financially being abused or physically being abused at the same time? I guess that's my question.
It's still a power and control thing. It goes back to
definitely
that
control.
saying,
Yes.
because I have one up on you. And just to piggyback, while you were saying, I thought about another client that was at the shelter, and she also was isolated from the other moms because her abuser, he didn't hit her. He hit the kids. He made the children beat their mom. So she could never say, he hit me. So now you're not going to be, you're going to be embarrassed to say my
It's your
5-year-old
kids.
child is giving me a black eye, stumping me out. So now the child has
perverse
to, yes.
mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fix that
So
one
then-
up.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Like, I'm not gonna hit you.
I'm
I'ma make the kids
right.
do
So
it.
now we were in a situation where we had this child who was acting out. So the psychiatrist was like, I got to tell y'all the story because now we all got to get together and figure out what's the best way to manage this child's behavior because he was violent. So when we heard the story, we was like, what the, like,
Yeah.
like this is crazy. Like, this is abuse in both ways because now either I'm going to get stomped out by my dad or I'm going to abuse my mom. Like, either way, there's
trauma.
There's trauma.
So there's childhood trauma, and we understand it in a domestic situation. Is that not just childhood trauma and child abuse?
Yes,
because it
absolutely.
definitely is.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to the umbrella.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how do we define these things to where we don't lose the weight and its original intent? And I think that's because I notice in society where everything falls underneath something, everyone, and it promotes a cancellation, cancel
Yes.
culture. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you've done this or you've done that.
Right.
So, if we see a superstar, go out there and he berates his woman, one night after a drunken night, let's just say,
Right.
he calls her all kind of MFers, Bs, never puts his hand on, do we equate that with Chris Brown beating up on Rihanna?
Still abuse.
Right. It's
It's
still
still abuse.
But
Yeah.
I would think
I
that,
do think
like,
it's
I
abuse,
think
but I
like
said it was scenario based off of, is he leaving the bar, he gets drunk,
Right.
I think
this
like,
isn't normal behavior.
But-
I think like everything is a degree to everything.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether you want to categorize it or A, B, and C,
Right.
or a level 2,
Right, right, right.
or level 3. I mean, I think that's something that we can categorize that. That's like a ratio or a rate.
Right,
That
right.
Yeah.
you would categorize that.
I think that it's so broad because everybody's experience with domestic violence and abuse is different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She just spoke of two completely different situations where one woman was being abused with monetary things,
Yeah.
and another woman completely different
Proxy.
situation
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
she's being abused by her children,
And
but,
the spouse.
but who's
Yeah.
who's the spouse who's forcing the children to
Right.
abuse the mother. So it's not that it's the lines are blurred. It's just that the umbrella is so big.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many different forms of abuse, because we haven't even mentioned abuse from child to parent. And I don't even mean with a situation where the spouse is forcing it. I
Just in
mean
general,
with children who are yelling at their mother, throwing things at their mother, or abusing their mother, or financially as well.
right.
Like if you don't buy this for me, I'm gonna do this.
Correct.
And so there's so many different forms of domestic violence and
right.
abuse. It could be from a mother to a child to a mother, or a woman to her husband. There's so many
and
different
same sex also.
Let's
Men
talk
to
about
men,
that.
Woman to woman.
Because I've read a study where there are so many cases in the LGBT community, particularly with men and men.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and to the point where they're saying, I'm gonna out you
Yeah.
if you don't do this, or threatening to put out their HIV status, or threatening to tell people if they had a sex change, I'm gonna tell
Right.
everybody you were a man or a woman or whatever the case may
Taking
be.
someone's
Yeah.
more
Taking,
darker,
yeah.
you know
So
what I
it's
mean, more
when
private
you
things.
hear these stories, it's really disheartening. And my biggest question is, how do we fix this? It's an epidemic.
Yes.
How do we
Especially
fix
after,
this?
well, speaking of epidemic after the pandemic, hasn't there been a rise in domestic
Yes.
violence?
Absolutely.
Listen,
Absolutely.
well,
Absolutely.
during the pandemic, domestic violence rate skyrocketed.
It did,
Absolutely.
yes.
Because you have
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
locked in
people,
the house.
you're locked in the
In the
house
house.
with this person, and they start to discover that I don't really like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
No,
like
I like the
you
9 to
gotta-
5 you,
yes.
not the everyday.
No,
Like
no,
the
no. I feel like
5
I
to
wanna-
9.
And the 5 to 9 you,
Yes,
you
you
when
know
you're
what
not
I mean?
here.
I don't like you. In fact, you know, your feet smell and your breath stink, and I no longer want to be around you.
Yeah.
And you know, and
Now
then
I
all-
have absolutely
Right.
no choice.
Yes, in all
Whatsoever,
seriousness too. Also, drinking was on the rise as
Yes.
well,
It was.
and that definitely had a lot to do with
And
it.
mental
Right.
health.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and
Mental
people
health.
going
Yes.
through depression
Yes.
because they wasn't at work. They might have lost their job or they lost a
Yeah.
family member that
Right.
died and
Right.
things like that. It was a whole umbrella
Yeah.
full of different
Correct.
things. Now, one thing I want to ask, right? Now, you know, Brother Ra, I know you have daughters.
I do.
So-
3 of them.
So do you.
Now,
Yep.
yes, I
Yeah.
do. It's one of the reasons why I'm asking this question because I you know. So, you know, your daughter, she gets older, she get mature, she runs into this
I know where
this
this is
stuff, and you know, your other daughter tells you, Dad, I think you know, she's being abused by this boy. What conversation do you have with your daughter?
With my daughter?
Yes.
I mean, I just basically let her know that I didn't go away from her because I didn't love her or anything like that. That this jail sentence that I'm now faced with, you know, is one of my own choosing. And it has nothing to do with her. There is literally no way that So because I understand just, you know, just to give a little bit of backstory, I actually lived in a domestic violence shelter. Right there on Monticello. So it's a big building. If you're past 16, you can't even go there. So, you know, we lived there for a whole year, and it was just a little bit bad because I knew the effects of what domestic violence was on women because some of them could see me as an 8-year-old and literally like I was taught to watch my mannerisms and not to, you know, I mean,
Right,
do certain
right. It
things
was
because
triggered.
I would trigger them at 8.
Wow.
I didn't know what a trigger was.
Right.
So it does happen. So I know what it does. I know what that does to them. And personally, I know that it's hard for women to get out of those situations. So as a father, I can have a conversation and she's not ready to go, she's not ready to go. In that position, I'm just being 100% honest.
Yeah.
I would have to put her in a position where it was no longer an option.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. So, Ms. Simmons, you have
Hopefully
I
that won't
have-
be used against me in the future. I'm saying hypothetically.
views and the
That's right. That's why we have the
wanted to-
disclaimer.
I wanted to share something as well. We talked about abuse, and I heard emotional abuse with the children and the parents, something that I'm starting to see, even in my own private practice, is parental alienation, where the other parent, the custodial parent, uses the child against the other parent.
Oh, I've seen that my whole life. I still see it today. I see it in the hood. I see it in suburbia.
So that's
I see it
the thing?
everywhere.
That is the thing.
that's not normal behavior.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm learning
Trauma.
about it. I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to hear it more. So abuse, like you said, it falls under such a
All
large
kinds, yeah.
umbrella where one parent is using the child to emotionally damage the other one with withhold of emotion. I don't want a relationship with you. You know, they're using the kid against the parent. So you're starting to see that too on the rise.
Right.
So abuse is neglect, it's emotional, it comes from all aspects.
It's verbal.
Right.
You know, sidebar, not a shameless plug, but you have your own business, correct?
Yes, I do.
And if they're experiencing these type of things, what would you direct them to come and they be able to communicate
Well,
and receive some type of counseling?
okay, so the name of the name of my practice is Altruistic Counseling Services. So I use altruistic because it means selfless. You know, I want to provide you with great services. So I'm 100% virtual, you know, it's only online, and my number is 732-395-9323 if anyone is interested.
Come
Also,
again?
732-395-9323.
And it's safe for people who want to protect their anonymity, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
a big thing as well, right?
I'm enjoying the moment. I'm learning so much from my clients even as well, and I'm still learning about different things and things that we don't talk about in this type of forum. You hear in those safe spaces.
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think that the discussion of mental health, we're talking about domestic violence, but
Right.
ultimately, that
leads
is a
back to mental
subsidiary
health.
to mental health,
Yeah.
right? The
Absolutely.
bigger umbrella
Absolutely. Right,
is
right,
mental
right.
health.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think we need to tap into mental health and kind of discuss a little bit why seeking help for mental health issues is so taboo within the Black community.
Well, because of, my opinion is, the stigma of what happens in his house stays in his house.
We all were
Oh,
told
say-
that.
yeah.
We
That's
were all
right.
With
told
the,
that
the
as
stigma,
kids.
the
Absolutely.
stigma of that,
Shame.
it's weak for a person to have to go out and speak to a stranger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
have nobody
and-
telling me
right.
what to do in my house.
Right.
Right.
So those
There are legit issues that have befallen people, especially people of color in this country,
Absolutely.
to make them distrust those
Right.
specific
so,
sectors as well.
So at the end of the day, we do have a lot of trust issues, and I'm gonna say, when I was younger and naive, and ignorant, I thought that in the midst of someone being, in mental health or psychiatrist or psychologist or what have you, did look completely opposite from me.
Yes.
And I thought that would make him
Yes.
able to understand me.
That is.
It's impossible
Yeah.
for you to understand my rage because you've never experienced it.
Yeah, it's a
So-
cultural,
right.
diverse kind of exclusion
Right,
there.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that
Yes.
wouldn't allow us to bridge a gap.
Correct.
Yes.
But I do think that there's other stigmas, and when it comes to domestic violence, and I'm very, very sorry, I don't think we pay enough attention to the fact that there are domestic violence and it goes both ways between the sexes.
Right.
A lot of the time, we do not speak of the fact that, there's statistics out there that say things about men in that space.
Yes,
Yes.
speaking of which, I'm so glad you mentioned that because one of the things that I wanted to discuss today was the male victim.
Right.
I have some stats here. The CDC states that approximately 1 in 10 men in the U.S. experience sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by their partner. Also, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence says that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have been victim of severe physical violence, i.e. beating, burning, or strangulation
Wow.
within their lifetime. So what stood out for me was the 1 in 7 men.
Wow.
And the reason why that stood out for me is because further, as I continue to read this article by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, men don't usually report their
Absolute-
incidents.
absolutely
So
not.
if this is 1 in 7 men of that's
We know.
reported,
Reported,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Imagine
Yeah.
the
what
numbers
about the
are.
men who aren't saying anything?
Right.
We're not gonna say anything.
But
And,
but
you know,
I also want to note that we have to look at the cultural and racial disparities with domestic violence as well. Okay, the statistics that I saw with the racial domestic violence, like within the Black community, within the Hispanic
Absolutely,
community,
yeah.
or within the Islamic culture, is astounding.
yeah.
But I have to note that it's what is reported.
Right, right.
Right.
It's what is reported.
Right.
So these statistics aren't, 100%
100%.
accurate
Right, right.
because a lot of women are afraid to report. More
Right.
men are afraid to report
Right,
because the
right.
stigma against men is, well,
You're a man.
you're a man.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially,
Yeah.
not to cut you off, if you're reporting one same sex, because now it's like, oh, like
Oh,
you
so
asked for that
you-
as 2 men. Like, how you're a man, he's a man. How's it
Can
a
you
problem?
imagine that? Wow.
And if it's a woman, that's a woman. How you let the woman?
How you let a
Right,
woman
it's-
beat
it's
up on
telling
you?
you?
You
They're
not a
telling
man?
the
Yeah.
officer who's a man that this woman who
Woman.
may be half your size
Right,
is
right.
kicking you behind, and they're like,
Exactly.
what?
Yeah.
Huh?
An officer who is, most officers consider themselves to be
That's
alpha.
it.
They
Yeah.
carry
Cool.
guns.
Exactly.
So
let's-
they're looking
exactly.
at you as
So
just,
now you belittle.
yeah.
You're like, I don't want to.
Let's
go
not
there.
keep touching on this physical thing because it's not just that a
It-
woman
it's
may
the-
be beating on a man. It's a woman who may be sexually abusing
Yeah.
her man.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
a woman who may
right.
be emotionally abusing her man. We have to stop attaching physical violence to domestic violence
Right.
and
Right.
look at it at all inclusive,
Correct.
as abuse. It is different forms of abuse, whether
Gender
it be
neutral.
social.
Right.
Let's not forget the social
umbrella.
abuse.
That's right.
You're not allowing your partner
To go
to
places,
join you when you're going to social events. So you're not
Oh, wow.
allowing
Yeah.
your partner to go to social events. You're restricting them from being with their friends. That all
Yeah,
falls
that's
under
culture.
that's
Yeah.
social abuse.
Hello.
So
Yeah.
I think that it's important to note that, there are signs that this person may be, and I'm saying this person because it could be a man, it could be a woman, are
Right.
going through
Yes.
abuse.
Yes,
What
that's
signs can we look for so we can maybe pull our friends to the side? Are you okay?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm here for
What do you
you.
think?
I think that it's important to discuss what
Right.
these signs may be because it might not just be makeup covering a black
Correct,
eye.
correct.
There are certain cues that somebody can give off to say that I need help. So can we discuss what some of those cues might be?
Well, for me, I've had friends who were in this situation, and we had the conversation, and it's very challenging because you could see it, but like Simon said, if they don't see it, now it's, well, if you don't support me in this decision, I'm not your friend anymore. So now it's either I stand back and watch and have some information and know my friend is okay, versus me keep beating a dead horse, for lack of better words, and then I lose a connection with my friend or loved one completely, and I don't know what's going on. Because if you
I
keep
didn't
telling
even think of
somebody
that.
something they don't want to hear, they're gonna get frustrated and they're not going to talk to you no more.
Absolutely.
So it's a very fine line. So the biggest advice that I would say is be patient and understand. Like
Right.
Simon said, this person doesn't know. So you just can ask them how they see themselves. Like, do you feel like that's okay, or have you ever experienced something
Denial.
like them,
Right.
to see if they can compare this actual situation with other situations? And then a lot of people who experience domestic violence, this is not their first relationship.
Right.
With
So-
domestic violence.
With domestic
Right.
violence.
Yes.
I had a friend, and her situation was, this wasn't as bad as the first one. Like the
Wow.
first one was
Equate
horrible.
violence
This is
with
this
love.
is kind of bad, but it ain't that bad. And
How do you
finally-
break that cycle?
So, thank God I love her so much. I hope she watching. But when we spoke about it, I knew she wasn't okay. So I didn't push the umbrella ever. It was just, I'm talking to you as my friend. Like, let's talk about hair, let's talk about makeup. When I'm gonna see you, that was it. And I will always tell her, if you need me, I'm here. You can call me anytime, regardless.
Yes.
And I have a child, and at the time I was married. She was married as well. So like, no matter what it is, you can call. And I always would tell her that. You can call me. Like, just say that. No matter what it is, you can call me. And I remember when she called me, it was like 12 o'clock in the morning. She didn't live close, like far. So when she called me, I was like,
You know it was
I knew what it
something.
was. I knew, and I picked up, like, what happened. And she was like, I can't do this. I need your help. I was like, I'm on it. Like, I was Googling, sending her information. She's not even in my state. But I was like, we're gonna do this. Stay on the phone with me till you get here. Help call family.
Nice.
Like, I was in social work
Nice.
/ friend mode. We on this ride together. You tap me in, we gonna be on it. And ever since then, to this day, I still, you good? How's your emotional? How's your mental? Da 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 da. What's going on? Never stop. But you have to sometimes fall back for them to know that you're supporting them. But if you tell them, like, regardless, whatever I'm doing,
Right, right.
if you call, I'm gonna answer, and they receive that. Like, okay, read between the lines. Like, read between the
Yeah.
lines, bitch.
So the
Know
best
that-
thing is
know
just
that.
to be supportive.
You be
Yes.
supportive and be patient, because it's their journey.
Right,
And when
right,
they,
right.
get fed up, they'll reach out to you if they know that they can trust you. And also, just to add, a victim attempts to leave 10 times before they actually leave.
Wow.
So you don't know if they attempted
Right,
to
right.
leave before and the person showed up, or the person lied, or even if they family scared too. That's another thing. Sometimes people threaten the family. So I can't go to mama house because he won't pop up in mama house, and mama scared, we scared. Girl, don't come
Isolation.
here because I don't want him shooting at my
Isolation.
house.
That's what you mentioned before,
So
isolation.
now you're like, oh, where do I go? And if they know all your friends now, you worried that, oh shoot, if I go to my mother's house, he know. If I go to my homegirl house, he know where that person lives. You're worried that you're going to get everybody else involved. So you're psyching yourself out without actually moving forward, because you're worried
You're protecting
about
everybody else
but
except for yourself.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right.
Exactly.
Miss Cole, you mentioned before, Miss Simmons, Miss Cole, Miss Simmons Cole,
Miss
Cole.
Miss D Cole,
Miss Cole.
Miss Cole, Deetria. I like that. That's a pretty
There
name,
you go. Thank
Deetria.
you.
You mentioned before that there are instances where the victim doesn't even know they're in a domestic violence situation. What does that look like when, they start to feel it, but they're even still questioning themselves?
it does become that because it's so subtle. It becomes, I remember this person telling me that when his friends came to the house, I wasn't allowed to speak to his friends.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, what? I didn't think anything about that. I don't have to speak to your friends. And it becomes, when we're at family functions, I don't want you sitting next to this person. I don't want you talking to that person, because then it escalates into an argument. So you have a tendency to just appease the abuser because you don't want either the blowback, the argument, or whatever. So you talk about years go by, months go by, years, and then you wake up and you just look around and you realize that this is not okay. You're not okay. And then where do you go?
You know, a healthy relationship is being able to have a peaceful relationship with yourself. It's important that you don't lose yourself when you're involving yourself with someone else.
Right.
And if they can't respect that, then you have to start looking at that
I
as
agree.
red flags.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's been my experience that a lot of individuals, and I've yet to understand the root of it, when they become in a relationship, they feel like they have to cut everybody off.
Right.
Because I have to dedicate this time. But I've always said, regardless to what, however that relationship may end, who's gonna pick you up?
Right.
If you throw all your friends away because you got a new boo, when that new boo become the old boo and the ex boo, we're the friends. Because they gonna
But-
feel away too. Like, wait a minute,
but-
every time we go through this ride, every time you get a new man, we don't want to keep being
Wait
pushed to
for
the
it.
side.
Wait
Right,
for
right,
She'll be
exactly.
back.
But again,
Right.
the isolation, because you have the abuser saying, why are you spending too much time at
Right.
Keisha's house?
Right.
You
Keisha
should-
don't got a man.
You
You
should
was over
be,
there.
exactly, you should be home
Gray
cooking and taking
area.
care
Yeah.
I
of
say it
the
was gonna, that's a
family.
great, because there's, men will literally, and as a
Right.
man, you know, like, there's gonna be things where females might consider things control, and it might not necessarily be a control.
Exactly.
Because it's like, oh, well, oh, you gonna go chill with Sharonda? Oh, you trying to isolate me from my friends? No, Sharonda slept with like none of my friends. like, no, I don't want you around her because I want to preserve.
We're not
our
talking about any Charondas. So if your name is
That's
Sharonda,
really,
we're not
really
talking
where
about
I'm
you.
at. You know, when a guy's like, oh, well,
Disclaimer.
oh, you leaving the house in that? Like, oh, no, I'm not trying to control
that
what
a
you're
lot, too.
wearing and telling you. I love your body so much that I love it for myself. You know?
So there's a
and it is
respect
what it
thing
is.
there.
It's
Yeah, I
a-
think
it's-
that-
it
yeah,
gets
yeah,
to a
yeah.
level, and I don't want to convolute that just a
Right.
little bit and people
Right.
understand, because
Yeah.
there are triggers that
Right.
Correct.
we should know. But I always want to, understand, like, when a man isolates you, you know that it's isolation.
Correct.
But it is still subtle.
You know,
But
it's
still
still
subtle.
subtle,
It's
but
still subtle.
yeah, it comes without understanding or
Correct.
without any kind of validity in it. You expressed a situation where the man was like, "Oh, I don't want you speaking to him. Why him? Why Junebug can't get a conversation? There's like 30 people in here."
Because Junebug was sleeping with all the
That's
One
right.
thing, here we
Or
go.
Junebug always slept with my people, and you don't know if that's true
Oh,
or
don't
not. So
talk
you're
to
like,
him.
okay, I don't want you to try to
this,
holler
don't
at
do
me.
that.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's a form, like in a relationship, there are certain things that we concede to each other.
Right.
And ultimately, I am going to become a new person because I am going to become the person that I've established through you.
Right.
Right,
So
right, right.
if we have a healthy relationship,
Right.
I am still going to become something other.
Correct.
Right.
Yes,
But at the same time, I want to make sure health is
Healthy.
healthy.
Yes.
Yes, healthy.
It becomes
Yes.
unhealthy
Yes.
And that-
when it's manipulation
Correct.
and
Right. Yeah.
abuse. I've been told, "Oh, you wearing that to work?" He literally would watch me get dressed for work and said that, "I think you shouldn't wear that to work." To the point that I just wore bland clothes because I got tired of the argument.
All right now, Miss Coles, now you wasn't having the yams out, right? Because I'm sorry.
No,
when
because-
my woman showed too
And on
much
that
yams,
note,
No,
ladies
I
and
didn't
gentlemen,
you know
feel-
what I mean?
But
I don't.
if she has yams, you gonna see him
But
regardless.
I
Yeah, but
felt
when
it
you-
was
Okay,
When
let's
showing
let's
the
let's
yams.
bring it back. Let's
When
bring
you're
it back.
showing
We
the
need
yams,
to
that's not good.
really need to discuss resources as time is ticking.
Well,
Agreed, yeah.
yeah. We're gonna start off with you, Miss Simmons. Please give them your website again, please.
www.altruistic counseling, ALTRUISTIC counseling.com. The number is 732-395-9323.
GP.
Yes. So I'm going to provide the viewers with the National Domestic Violence Hotline number.
Nice.
Which is 800-799-7233. Again, that number is 800-799-7233. And you can also text START to 88788, and that's the word START, 88788.
And I want to, before we take a brief break, and then we're going to come back, we're going to actually have a little raffle we explain when we return. I just want to say that, hurting people hurt people. And that's something
not a
that,
cliche.
yes, and that's something that you
learned
got to
behavior.
understand. And be mindful of what you do around your children and what you
Absolutely.
believe that you're going to present as being acceptable.
Right.
And women or men, first they start breaking things around you, and then next thing you know, they're hitting you. So be mindful of those different things, And I think that, if you're a friend, there's times when you guys need to be able to have a moment where you guys go somewhere besides the club, you know what I mean? And starts drinking the mimosas at the day party.
I like them.
You know what I mean? I bet you do. But there's times where you need to do a little bit more than that and really be able to have a serious heart-to-heart conversation. Because it's important to have the right conversation with the right people.
At the right time.
Right.
At the right time.
Right. And you'll be surprised. So again, man, love ourselves and love each other.
Right.
Be a true friend and a neighbor.
And like I said, have
Before
patience.
we say bye to
Yes.
our guests, I just want to note that I just want to thank you guys, for coming on
Absolutely.
and
Thank you for
sharing your
having us.
experiences,
Absolutely.
sharing your stories. And for people who feel like they're a victim of domestic violence or know someone who may be a victim of domestic violence, and you may be afraid to dial this number, or you may be afraid to go on the website, remember, like Holly said, B.L.E.S.C is always here for you. We can get you in touch with the resources that you need. Even if you just need somebody to talk to, you need a conversation. That's what B.L.E.S.C is for, working with people in the community in anything that you
Great
need.
counsel
That's
right
right.
here.
So
Right,
I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you
Thank you
guys.
so
Thank you
much.
so much for
I want
joining
to
us,
thank
sir.
you, good brother Ra. I want to thank you, Ms. Coles and DP from the NYC. And also, light skin Keisha, thank you. So on that note, Scott, let's take it a break.
We be right back. Don't
be right
leave.
back. Don't
If
leave.
you want to get this raffle, you better get your ticket ready.
That's right.
Okay? So we will be right back. We pulling a raffle for Miss Valerie Brown.
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
So-
How can I get a raffle ticket?
We ready, Scott?
Very dope show. I'm very impressed with the family, man. Y'all.
All right, we
Thank
back.
you.
We back, y'all.
Yes,
are
yes,
back.
we are back. As you can see, we've been somebody broke into the studio and here they go, a bunch of rowdy COs. We want to say hello to DJ Chauncey B.
Woo! We miss you, Chauncey.
I'll be back very soon, y'all.
Okay.
We want to
Yeah.
say what's up to what's your name again?
President. President Anthony Smith.
They started looking
Tony Smith, right, that's what I said.
My
And the
boy,
President
up.
Anthony Smith for B.L.E.S.C, and then we have Officer Valerie Brown, who's battling cancer at this moment.
Breast
and
cancer.
we want to thank her for coming on the show. We want to thank all those who actually participated in the raffle. Shout out to them great heroes at the Hudson County Department of Corrections. Shout out to JCPD. You know, them correctionals, I want to say, no guns or guts, but anyway. Shout out to EMT. Shout out to the fire department, all the other people who supported us, and we want to say thank you. So, Miss Brown, you're going to roll the little thingy there?
Wait, before she roll it, can you say something,
I was
please?
figuring she was going to say something afterwards. Go ahead, Miss Brown. You want to address the
I
people?
just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you, period. I'm blessed. I have a great support system. I can't thank you guys enough. I love each and every one of you, whether I know you personally or not. I just love you guys. Thank you.
All right. There you go.
And this raffle was, can we just give a brief explanation for the people who don't know? What was the raffle for?
We actually collectively came together and we raffled off 2 uniform vouchers. So all those who were supporters, you had an opportunity to win a complete uniform with patches for all our uniform officers, B.L.E.S.C members, EMTs, police, sheriffs, anybody who wear a uniform. Heck, if you win, you can pass it on to your cousin that work in the South
Christmas
District or
coming up.
whoever. Christmas coming up, you got it.
Christmas gift.
And we want to thank you for your support. So, Ms. Brown, you wanna
Without
spin the
further
wheel?
ado. Get y'all tickets ready. Oh, that might be it. Is that the one?
No.
Uh-oh. We gotta put them back. Put them back.
Open back.
Why is
Now,
open?
do it
It's
over.
coming out the side.
Yeah, they coming out the side.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, they.
Somebody mad right
We
now.
gonna redo this.
We gonna roll
The
it.
drums again.
Okay.
Somebody mad right now.
Gotta go fast.
You gotta go fast. You gotta go
Okay.
fast.
All right. I'll do it
You
fast.
gotta go fast. All right. Sorry for
come
your
on,
It's
baby.
not.
I just
That's
need
not.
the
It's
comments.
not. Look.
Somebody read these comments right now.
They ain't no comments. They on the edge of their seats. They on the edge of
They
their
coming out of here. They
seats.
coming out of here.
Wait, and there's one on the side there. Make sure that one getting rolled in now.
other way.
That's it.
No, but
There's
there's
one
one
right
on
there.
the side.
You
Let's
see?
make sure
I
that's
see
getting
it.
rolled
This is
in.
right here.
There we go.
You know what? All right. Come on, Miss Brown. Spin it fast.
One quick spin. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay.
That's good.
Let's
All right.
open it up.
Right there.
All right.
Nope.
You got, is it 2 people?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 winners.
All right. So read the first winner.
Okay. The first one is
Look at that.
T. Salters.
Read the ticket number.
Wow.
Ticket
salty.
number is 020.
020.
020. We got a winner.
And one more, right? Okay. And the second person?
T. Bradford. The ticket number is 072.
072. Congratulations to the winners.
guys.
Yes.
Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. And again, we want to thank Miss Brown for coming on the show.
Thank you
And we
for
have
having
another
me.
guest sitting here.
It's all right.
Oh, this is one of my favorite people right here. Officer Wilson, the enforcer. You know what I mean? I love her. She has a birthday coming up, everybody.
I love her too.
So everybody say happy birthday to
birthday.
Officer Wilson.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's right. Also from Hudson County Department of Corrections, where those heroes dwell. All right,
right.
fight through COVID.
Turnout.
Oh, Turnout. Okay, so Turnout, we want to thank you guys for sponsoring the uniforms,
Thank you,
Turnout
Turnout.
uniforms in Jersey City. Clap it up for them.
Yes.
Sir.
Thank you, Turnout.
Oh, all right. We definitely appreciate that. You know, in closing, again, I want to say, you know, to all you guys, again, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, you know, Breast Cancer Month. Look, we're dealing with so much, you know what I mean, in this world, period, right? And in the midst of all things that's going on and all the people we lost during COVID, yo, really sincerely, let the people around you that you claim you love know that you love them. Show them every day in your actions. Make sure you reach out to one another and let them know that, you know, you care. And like I said, pull them outside and have those days. And if it take mimosas to do it, do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mango mimosas.
Yes. Mango, huh?
Yes.
With
I
a
never
little-
had, I never had
Right.
mango.
I'm allergic to orange,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
Well,
I
have
have
yourself a mango mimosa, smoke a cigar or two, You know what I
Holla.
mean? And just communicate, man.
That
I mean,
infuse
really,
is sweet
really,
either.
really show each other that you love each other. I hate to use this cliche term nowadays, but yeah, truly give them their flowers now.
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah,
Yes.
Why not?
because
Yeah.
tomorrow is not
Now, I'm gonna
promised.
tell you what I'm about to
Right.
say. It's not here today, going tomorrow. It's here today, going today.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
especially
right.
now.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah,
Know what I
I'm about to
mean? We
say
want
that
to
all the
thank you
time.
guys again. We want to thank the viewers. Thank all the guests. Thank you, DP. Thank you, Ms. Coles. Again, people, reach out to B.L.E.S.C. We have a lot of resources. We don't mind sharing because we care, and we're willing to do whatever we can. All right, and feel free to call President Anthony Smith any time of the day,
Anytime.
night. Doesn't matter.
We'll post his
You'll bring
phone
them on.
number, his direct number. Look below.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Yes, indeed.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Ain't that right?
Yes, indeed.
That's right. Yeah.
All
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Don't
Yeah.
stop,
Yeah,
people.
great.
At all.
Just keep calling. All right. And again, we want to thank you guys for joining us. We see you next time. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Peace and love, and we out.
Right. I
We
told you
out.
watch out for those people.
Great job.